Hello and welcome to this year's CMALT Ceremony, and together with my colleague Debbie Baff, I'm looking forward to getting the show on the road. I can see quite many people watching, and we've got a few nervous presenters here backstage, so do try and put your hands together and post in the chat where you're joining us from and wave hello. The first person to introduce, it's my pleasure to say hello to the person who heads up the scheme and will lead the ceremony today, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Welcome.
Hello, Maren. Thank you ever so much. Hello, everybody. Very excited to be here this evening. Done my hair and everything, and I even remember to take my curlers out, which is really, really impressive. So, yeah, really delighted to see people joining us, and even more delighted that we've got some people, some special guests today to share their stories about CMALT with us. So, yeah, please do tell us where you're from in the chat. It'd be great to see some people. To see where you've come from. So thanks.
Wow, I can see many people already saying hello. So we've got Matt joining us, Anshul joining us, Dan. There's also Roger, Fiona, Eleanor. Fantastic. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Brilliant. That's really great. Thanks then, Maren. So perhaps if we could put our speakers all on at the same time, I think that would be really, really nice, so they can see us down the side, and we can just say a quick hello before I get going with the actual slides. I will warn you folks as well. I've been trying to, hello everyone. I've been trying to do some clever stuff in the background and put some clapping and things like that on in the background. So I hope they're going to work, but we'll give it a go. So I'm sure you can all clap along in the chat if that doesn't work. Okay, so this is the rough format of how we're going to do it today in terms of this particular award ceremony. And I'm sure that everybody watching will recognize this CMALT accreditation framework, which is up there, and these lovely photos and images that Brian Mathers does for us. So we'll do a quick introduction from myself and Maren just to say hello, and then we'll take you through each of our speakers today. So we have Sammy. Give us a wave, Sammy. Thanks, Sammy. We have Richard. Give us a wave, Richard. Yay! I feel like I'm on a game show. And then we have Rob. Thanks, Rob. Yay! Give us a wave. Awesome. And hello to everybody. I love seeing these comments coming through. So obviously you can find out more about the CMALT accreditation framework, and we have these three different pathways, and I'm very pleased to say that we've got a speaker from each of these pathways today. Okay. So you've spoken to me, so I'm just going to let Maren say a very quick hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm a senior CMALT holder, currently renewing my portfolio. So I'm particularly thrilled to see some fellow senior CMALT holders, both on stage and in the chat. It's fantastic to have you here. It's only been 2 years since we started the scheme. But day to day, I think I've had involvement with CMALT since 2008, and it's been fantastic to see the development of the scheme in the past year, which is in no small part thanks to Debbie.
Thank you, Maren. That's lovely. Thank you very much for that that introduction. That's brilliant. So as I mentioned, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sammy first of all, and then I'm going to just give you a brief quote from Sammy's portfolio that I found that thought would be really good to share with you, and then I'm going to pass you over to Sammy. So Sammy is an FE maths lecturer, and she consults with colleges all over the country and developing their use of education technology and advising on their strategies for teaching and learning. And it does say on here as well that Sammy was the first female Google for Education certified coach in Europe, which sounds really impressive. And she's also a Google innovator and trainer. And when I was looking at Sammy's portfolio, I thought that this really kind of struck me, and I thought that the way that she put this into her portfolio was brilliant, really, because it talks about her work as a teacher, but also as a mentor to other people, and I think Sammy's portfolio is particularly reflective. So I'm really, really pleased that she's here today to talk to us, and I've got one of my little widgets now, and I don't know if this is going to work because I haven't got my headphones in, but just imagine that it's a drum roll if it doesn't work. Did that work? Yay! There you go, Sammy. Over to you.
Oh, thanks, Debbie. I didn't know there was going to be that happening. That was a little bit awkward, but anyway. Yeah, I am very proud to get my Associate CMALT this year. It was a long piece of work, and I really did enjoy the reflective part of it. Core Area 2 was where I reflected most, and what I wrote about in Core Area 2 is I wrote about what happened in my classroom, and that sort of led me on a journey. And then it was, this is what I did in my classroom, and this is the technology that I used. And then I went and showed this colleague, and this is what they used. This is how they used it, and this is where we ended up. So it was almost like a story in Core Area 2 of what I did, what I shared with my colleagues, and then how we all moved forward with it as well. What I'm particularly proud of as well is Core Area 3. Because I do teaching mainly, I chose to focus on SEN and the code of practice and some of the work that I did with one of our provisions. And it's a really simple thing, but I'm incredibly proud of this. Just like Debbie's just used the sound effects in her presentation, we built slide decks with sound effects of speech to text. But then we used touchscreen technology for the students to then create almost their own assistive voice technology that could be customised to them. So I really enjoyed reflecting on that in Core Area 3. And that's really all I wanted to share about my portfolio. It is going into the database so others can look at it. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. I really enjoyed doing it.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Sammy. And I'm so glad that my drum roll worked. Otherwise, that would have been really embarrassing. As I said, you are one of our associate CMALT holders, and your portfolio was just an absolute pleasure to read. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you coming today. Okay, so I'm going to move on now to Richard Biles. Richard is a CMALT holder. And he joined the Northampton University Learning Technology team in 2016. And Richard does all sorts of things. I had like this massive thing that Richard had given me in terms of his biography. So I've tried to just pick out a few things, and it's amazing the kind of experience that's on there. But his CMALT application documents really talk about things about active learning and the use of discussion boards and journals and Padlet and things like that. And I'm a real fan of Padlet. So I think it'd be really useful for Richard to tell us a little bit about the stuff that he does. And hopefully I'm going to be on for a hat trick, I hope, today, if I've done this. So this is my quote that I found on Richard's portfolio. And as you can see from that, he basically sort of talks about how the experience of doing it has been really, really useful to him, and that how he's going to learn from all the stuff that he's done in the future. And obviously, as an experienced technologist with a wide range of skills, really, I think that being able to have his portfolio up on view, as it were, to the world really brings it all to life. So I'm going to try another drum roll. Can we go for it? That's brilliant. And pass over to Richard.
Thanks, Debbie. So yeah, I'm hoping you can see my screen. So I'm going to jump right in and quickly show the online training course I produced as my specialist option in my portfolio. So I've got 3 training courses that I made for partner staff who are based all over the world. So I've got a basics course, which really talks about the central platform of Blackboard Learn, and really basic things like releasing sites, making content, things like that. I've then got I'll jump to the assessments one first. So I've got an assessment one which goes through setting up Blackboard and Turnitin assignments and all those sort of things. So these are all the kind of things we're getting asked all the time by partners, but we don't actually get a chance to meet them because they're in different time zones. So the course was really useful for that. And my favorite of the 3 courses was this enhancements course, which I'll just quickly click into. And it's broken down into a number of units. So it covers things like discussion boards, blogs, EduBlogs, Padlet, virtual classrooms, Kaltura. And I guess this was all sort of pre-COVID. So a lot of this material would have perhaps been PDF guides at that point, or FAQs, but it wasn't all pulled together into one course. And what we've really done, I've written some content. So we've linked to existing guides, their Blackboard's guidance, all those sort of things. And then we link to things like Gilly Salmon, and we have some challenge sheets and case studies. So it really just pulls together a lot of stuff that was perhaps existed elsewhere or I created. So it was the idea of this being all pulled together in some different courses. So I thought this made a pretty good example for my CMALT, because I think it represented a lot of different skills that were pulled in there. So I was really lucky to have the opportunity to lead this project. So I joined the LearnTech team at a time when both our institution was moving to a new digital campus and we were changing our pedagogic approach to teaching and learning. So these courses are really designed to promote how the digital tools can help partner staff engage through online activities. And I'm particularly pleased with that enhancements course, because I interviewed our head of Institute of Learning and Teaching, Ali Armelini, who talked about active blended learning here, and also sort of that was reflected through the case studies that we did there. So I think it really worked for us to build this online course. I think in terms of how this related to my CMALT, it gave me a really good opportunity to speak to people about what I was doing at the university. And I was really surprised to get these fantastic testimonials back. And that, I guess that really hit home not only how people appreciate the technical help we provide, but also when we're sitting with them, our ability to listen, to develop confidence, and to give people the safe, supportive space they need to learn. I think in terms of challenges, the hardest part of my CMALT was being critically reflective. I found that quite tricky. So my approach was to keep writing, show drafts to colleagues, and then keep writing it again, and just really working it until it took shape. But I think just to say that really the CMALT for me has been a massive sort of achievement. I think it's been a really good opportunity, and it's really sort of followed my career as I've started as a learning technology and understand the breadth of the role. I think prior to doing this, I was perhaps focused in one or two areas, but I've really used that CMALT to expand myself into different areas so that I feel that I'm a more complete learning technologist as a result. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody at CMALT, especially my assessors, for their fantastic feedback. And also, obviously, my colleagues here at Northampton have been really, really supportive and given me the time and support to do it. So yeah, big thank you to CMALT. It's been a massive opportunity, fantastic opportunity.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you, Richard. That was so good. And we were just saying, weren't we, kind of backstage in the green room, as it were, that one of the good things about the CMALT and all of the different pathways is that it is personal to you, and it really does highlight and make your skills and all of the different things that you do really, really visible, which is why I just think it's such a good scheme, really. Okay, thank you ever so much. Really, really enjoyed that. Thank you. Okay, last but definitely not least is the lovely Rob Langley. And Rob is one of our newly qualified senior CMALT holders, and he works at the Teaching Enhancement Unit at Dublin City University. And he works with academic staff to enhance their teaching and learning and assessment practices on different modules with digital technologies. So I think when you see Rob's portfolio, it's a really nice clean looking portfolio as well. I found it really, really easy to kind of look at it, and it was really navigable, if that's a word. So this is the quote that I came out with this, which I thought was really lovely. And Rob has said that, the process of completing this portfolio has been a really rewarding one. And he talks about, when you really take stock and reflect on what you've done, you can actually see the totality of your own work. And I think that's so true, because often in the world that we live in, we do things, we maybe fix things, and then we move on. And it's always, it's really nice to be able to reflect on that stuff. And, as we all know, it's having the time, isn't it, to do these things, but writing it down and being able to put it into a portfolio type approach is great, really. So I'm going to go for the hat trick. Am I going to get my drum roll in? I could have had different drum rolls, couldn't I? But hey, there we go. Right, let's try it. Awesome. Over to you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Debbie, and thanks to everyone else. I think that was a great quote you chose from my portfolio, because it really sums up what the whole process was about for me. It was probably the first time in my career that I truly stopped to think properly about everything that I've done in my journey and where I've gone and where I've ended up and so on. And that kind of summarized the whole process for me. When I started my CMALT journey, I didn't have the full map in mind. I knew I had some things to showcase and to evidence and important things I wanted to share. But the process of completing the portfolio was so important, because the road unfolded for me as I started walking down it, and I could see what I had done before. I could see the impact that I had, and it's also put me in a good position to look to the future as well, of where I want to go and how I want to continue having an impact on staff and students in higher education. So I'm just going to show you 3 very quick things from my portfolio. So one thing is the deployment of learning technologies. This is very much a COVID era entry in my portfolio, and I think probably in a lot of portfolios you can't escape the theme of COVID, because it's been so impactful on society as a whole, obviously, but also on learning technology and on education. So these 2 examples are about how I worked with my team to deploy Zoom in DCU to continue remote teaching during the campus closures last year. And this is really interesting, because I suppose I was unpicking what we as a team had done and how we had worked together to support staff, but also what I contributed to the team, and how I helped individual staff as well, and the different kind of support sessions we ran and troubleshooting, and how we helped and how responsive we were to help our lecturers and our students keep teaching and keep learning. And then my second example is around deploying the VBox tool. And I know VBox is a sponsor of the conference and is a fantastic tool. And this is something that I lead primarily by myself, and try to get our staff using, so they can engage students a bit more, give students a voice to participate in learning and in class sessions, which of course is hugely important during the remote teaching context, when everyone is feeling so isolated. Tools like this and technology can really bring people together. So that was a particularly important section of my portfolio. And you can see here, I did keep my portfolio nice and clean. That's the kind of mind I have. I like consistency. I like cleanliness. I like ease of navigation. So I'm glad you found it quite navigable, Debbie. One other thing to show you quickly then is my role, and I know it's not true of all learning technologists, but my role involves a lot of CPD and supporting staff, and both internally in DCU and externally. So this is one of my specialist areas, and really gave me a chance to think back on my approach and my philosophy to CPD, and how I work with people and how I try and help people. And it's all about, I think, trying to understand the shoes that other people walk in, understand their positions, their fears, their values, and then seeing how can I help with that? How can I help them improve their practice? And there's a number of different CPD activities I'm involved in, again, both myself that I would lead, but also working with my team. I'm so privileged to have a wonderful team in DCU that I work with, and nationally I'm involved in a project with several other universities. And I think the portfolio itself is quite personal, and it's my story, but it's also the story of all the people I've met along the way, and all the people I've worked with and keep working with, and all the people who have helped me along the way become the learning technologist I am today. So it's the portfolio has been a fantastic journey, and is a lot, and means a lot to me. And I think, as I said, positions me in planning my own development further down the line. The last section to show you, and then I'll wrap up, is an advanced area, which is around assessment. I believe strongly that good assessment is enjoyable for students and for staff. I think it can really engage students, support their learning, showcase their attainment. And of course, I have a particular interest in using technology to support assessment, such as my work with the EDTL project here in Ireland, supporting assessment and feedback. And one area in particular is student partnership as well. Student partnership and assessment is something I really believe very passionately in, and in working with students to get them more involved, give them agency, let them take ownership of their learning. So that is my portfolio. It will be put up on the database soon enough. And I just want to say again, thanks so much for the opportunity, and a big thanks, Debbie, to you. You've been such a wonderful support, and I'm sure for all of the candidates throughout our journey, you and all the rest of the team, and also I do owe you a big thanks as well.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so lovely. Thanks, Rob. And thank you so much for showing us your portfolio. As I said, you know, it was lovely. And I think having the spread and the breadth of the portfolios that we've seen today gives a really good insight into the extent of the whole scheme. So, and there's loads, have a look down the chat, because there's loads of love for all three of you in the chat. Brilliant. Seemingly you've had lots of influencing on other people down there. So it's so good. So, thank you so much.
Well, and now, as we say thank you to our CMALT holders who've joined us here on the stage, we are going to get ready for hopefully will be the biggest drum roll of them all, as we get ready to reveal everybody who has managed to gain CMALT this year. So get ready for the actual ceremony now.
Did that work? I hope you saw what I saw. Yay! It's taken me ages to do that. What I really need is a few learning technologists to help me with it. So thank you ever so much. And this is a massive congratulations to our associate, our CMALT and our senior CMALT certified holders, including those people who have completed their 3-yearly review. So thank you very much and congratulations. So what I'm going to do now is like the big reveal. I'm just going to put on the names. I'm not going to read them all out because there's quite a lot of them. I've tried to put them in alphabetical order, and I put your lovely new post-nominals after as well. What I would say is, if you're in the audience, if you spot your name, give us a wave in the chat, and then hopefully Maren can get your name going across the bottom. That was the only way that we could think to do it that made sense. So without further ado, and we've just had, what was this one? Was this a drum roll? Am I going to fail at the last hurdle? Never mind. Pretend that was a drum roll. Here we go. Yay! Here are our lovely CMALT certified holders. As you can see on this slide, there's a lot of them. This is only slide 1. There is another one to come after this. So as I said, these are to all the different pathways. So we have people from associate CMALT, and we have CMALT, and we also have senior CMALT as well. I hope that if you do spot your name, it's a big list. Well done, Dave. It is. I can see your comment there. It is a really big list, and we're going to go on to the next page in a second. But I just thought I'd leave that up there so that you can kind of drink that in and really see how people have achieved everything this year. It is really, really impressive. Given the last 18 months that we've all had, to be in this position where people have managed to still keep up with their professional development and still pull all of their portfolios together, fair play. There's a lot of work that's gone on behind the scenes. Oh, we've got some people waving. Here we go, Maren. Can you spot anybody?
Yeah, we do. We have quite a few. So we've got Fiona here, who's on our list. There's also Dan Clark, who's on our list. So you've got quite a few people in the audience, and also wonderful rounds of applause from plenty of people all around the room. So fantastic. Thank you very much for joining in. Debbie, I think we're ready for the second list.
Ready for the second list? Okay.
Oh, fantastic. Alison is in there. So congratulations, Alison. You can see that.
Everyone now quickly scanning their name to see if they're there. Yay!
That's right. And there's a shout out to Agatha and Sophie. Congratulations.
Brilliant. Look at that. It's lovely. It's so, so good. Awesome. And yes, all of your names now are kind of indelibly etched into my brain as well, because I've seen them so many times. So I do hope you kind of, I toyed with the idea of which was the best way to display this. And this was Maren's suggestion to come up with this particular layout. So I hope that works, and I hope you can read it all. So I'm going to move on to the next one. There we go. This is our second page. And as you can see on there again, we have lovely associate CMALT holders, and senior CMALT holders, I believe. Yes, we do. And as I said earlier on, these are people who have newly become certified, or they have updated their portfolio as part of the 3-year review. So that's just a reminder for those of you in the audience that may not have quite done your 3-year review yet.
I don't know who you mean, Debbie. I don't know who you mean. One of us might be due next month. So
Hint, hint.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Marika. Nice to see you. It's so good. Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice to see everybody, and I'm loving all these emojis. There's so many emojis in the comments. It's brilliant.
Well, a really warm congratulations. I think, as we've all said, it takes real commitment to achieve external recognition for all the hard work and knowledge, NCPD, particularly in pandemic times. So I think we can all empathize with how hard that's been to make that happen. And from everyone at ALD, from our board of trustees, from our staff, and all the fellow certified members, associate certified members, and senior certified members, congratulations to everyone, our new CMALT holders. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Marin. That's absolutely great. Okay, so there's just a couple more bits and pieces that I wanted to do before we come to the end of our time. So I'm just going to move on my slide, because of course we must not forget our amazing CMALT assessors. So to be fair, you know, all of these people do this and the day job in the horrendous pandemic that we've all been through, you know, and they're still contributing and doing their scholarly contribution, and they all volunteer. And, you know, it's very rewarding work, but it is additional work. And I'm happy to say that I will be introducing some open digital badges specifically for our CMALT assessors. So that will be able to demonstrate the kind of work that they do. So hopefully that will be something that will kind of stand with you, and you'll be able to use it in your appraisals and all that kind of thing. So there's far too many to list on there. They wouldn't fit on my slide. But I know that there are people in the audience there. You know, we really do appreciate all. I know I say it all the time, but I really mean it. We could not do this scheme without you guys contributing your time and energy and enthusiasm. So another round of applause, please, to all our amazing CMALT.
That's right. Thank you so much. Peer review, peer assessment is at the cornerstone. So, and one more sound effect. I love it, Debbie. Any final words from you, Debbie?
Yes, how do I stop the sound now?
Well, I think that's the perfect time for us to close the curtain and say thank you very much to everyone who participated. Thank you to Richard, Rob, and Sammy. Thank you to everybody who joined us, and a very big thank you to our lovely host, Debbie Baff, who heads up our CMALT accreditation scheme. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of our conference.